This is exactly how I would put my first 100K in the bank in 2025 as a sales rep if I lost everything. I'm talking no network, no connections, no sales role, no money. This is exactly what I would do. And just know, I'm not saying this out of theory. This is something I've done before. I did this back in 2021 when I had no connections, no network, no sales role, and honestly a pretty average sales skill. I put over $300,000 in profit back into my bank account in 2021, and here's my tax return just to prove it. And no, I wouldn't start a business. This isn't how I did this. I just funneled the commissions through an LLC. I wouldn't start a side hustle outside of my sales role. I definitely wouldn't slowly climb the corporate ladder waiting for a promotion, and I wouldn't even try to build a following. I'd do one thing and I'd do it fast. Let me show you. I did this by doing remote closing. Yes, high ticket sales. And I'd do it again in 2025. This may have been something you heard of before, but not something you fully understand, because if you did, you would already have your first 100K in the bank and you'd be absolutely crushing life with it. So stay to the end of this video because I'm going to reveal the fastest way to put your first 100K in the bank in 2025 by doing this. And if you don't know me, my name is Garrett Campbell, and maybe you've seen me before, maybe you're totally new to me, but I've done over $8 million in sales over Zoom, which allowed me to pay off my college debt, help pay off part of my parents' mortgage, and put my first 100K in the bank after tax by the age of 21. And now I'm 25 in about 3 weeks. And here is my bank account to literally prove it. January 7th, 2021. And after that, I started my company, The Closing Bible, after doing this myself, which is a platform that trains and places sales reps into remote high-ticket sales roles that actually match not just their financial goals, but the goals in all areas of life. And I've been able to place 426 sales reps into remote high-ticket sales roles, just like the one I was in at the time of running this company. If you've seen a big-name business run by a personal brand, chances are I have worked with their sales team and placed sales reps for them. I've placed sales reps for Alex Hormozi's company Gym Launch, Tony Robbins, Ryan Serhant, who you've likely seen on Netflix, Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank, Thought Leader, who if you've ever seen a TED Talk before, they got there because of a company called Thought Leader, and we placed sales reps for them, Iman Gadzhi, which I'm sure you've seen his YouTube videos, and many, many more names that you scroll past every single day. And you can love or hate the undeniable fact that I'm about to drop, but this is reality. Attention has become the most valuable resource in this economy. For those of you who are currently in sales roles now, you've probably felt this. Whether you're in door-to-door sales, you're selling software, insurance, cars, anything in the corporate world, or maybe you've even tried running your own business to sell your own services. It is truly an uphill battle to sell products without a high level of attention behind them. And as a sales guy, yes, of course, you can still sell things that don't have the most attention in the world behind them, and you can make money, you could still close deals. But this video is about making your first 100K the fastest way possible. I think we could both agree it's much easier selling a product to a raving fan than it is to sell a solar panel to someone after just knocking on their door when they're pulling a gun on you. And I know that sounds crazy, but jokes aside, I've had multiple reps that have come from door-to-door solar before transitioning into high-ticket sales that have had guns pulled on them on multiple occasions. Not only is it easier to sell for these people with high amounts of attention, but being in high ticket sales just gives you a higher quality of life. And let me break this down to you, because there is the old way of selling and then there's the new way of selling. And let me break down what this exactly looks like. You see, you guys are dealing with problems that you have in your current role because you're doing things the old way. You can see from this graphic here. The company that you sell for is marketing the old way, which is causing you to chase leads while they run away from you. Your leads don't know who you are, your company, or much about your product and why it's actually better than the other competition, causing you to chase them while they run away from you because they're confused and they don't want to talk to you. Leads are blatantly disrespecting you and saying the most outrageous, hateful things to you because they see you as a pest. And as a salesperson, time is money. So every minute you spend not talking to someone who's already wanting to buy what you sell is time wasted. This is time spent not making money, which not only means that you aren't making as much as you could, but arguably even worse, because you aren't spending time doing what you actually want to. Your boss totally controls your time and schedule, and even worse, you're forced to sell in person, whether it be in office or to do actual in-person meetings in prospects' homes, or, dear Lord, to go knock doors. So on top of you spending time talking to tire kickers, you're also traveling multiple hours a day, wasting time commuting instead of making money or doing things you enjoy. Because there's such a lack of trust with leads or potentially selling your product with an insane amount of decision makers, you're also on top of that dealing with insanely long sales cycles. It might take months for a deal to close just for it to fall through. And the wait that you have to sit through makes your anxiety go through the roof, wondering if a deal will ever close again. We've seen this from past clients who've left real estate wholesaling because they're waiting 3-4 months for a deal to close just for it to fall through, or in tech sales where it might take 6 months, 12 months for a deal to close with Walmart or Salesforce or some big company with all these corporate decision makers that make things just take forever. But rather, in the world of high ticket sales, you can consistently make $500 to $1,000 per sale every single day on a simple one-call close with the new way of selling from home on your own schedule. And you see, most sales reps have no idea this world of high ticket sales exists or how to actually get into it, so they try to run their own businesses and they ultimately fail. They realize that their current sales role has a void that they're trying to fill, and they think that by starting their own business, they're going to fill that void, but it just never works out that way, because what happens is they don't actually have the business acumen, the capital, the money, or the connections to actually run a successful business. And if you don't have $100,000 saved in the bank, you have no business starting your own business. But in high ticket sales, you can actually save your first $100,000. You work in smaller teams that are highly talented, so you learn a ton from the founder, which helps you when you start your own business. And the connections you build by stepping into the online space will help you when the time comes. We've talked about the old way of selling, but what about the new way? Like how is it so different? Picture this graphic here, right? You have your raving fans that line up at the door coming to you, the high ticket closer, because they want to get access to the business owner or the creator that is generating a high amounts of attention. Like I said, attention is the most valuable resource in today's economy in 2025. And let's just put it this way. In the last graphic, you were chasing prospects who were running away from you and didn't know who you are. Yet here in the new way of making money in sales, they're running after you and you are the one selling from your back foot. Here's a prime example of this. Have you ever seen this guy before? Chances are you probably have. He understands that attention is the most valuable resource in this economy. His name is Ryan Serhant, and he is the most well-known real estate agent on the planet. He sold the most expensive condos in New York. He runs a massive real estate brokerage that does billions in transactions, and he has done over 4 shows like this, with 2 being on Netflix. He also has millions of followers. He has 2.5 million on Instagram. He just crossed 1 million on TikTok. And this is his newest and latest Netflix series, Owning Manhattan, which is really good. You should watch it, by the way. He sells a $24,000 and $48,000 consulting service for real estate agents. Do you not think that every real estate agent on the planet would absolutely kill to work with Ryan Serhant? Of course they would. And that's why we've had 2 clients make multi-6 figures selling his services as a high ticket setter and high ticket closer for Ryan Serhant. Let me be very clear. The businesses you sell for aren't social media influencers. They are business owners who also make content. To the untrained eye, they look like someone who doesn't run a legitimate business and is someone who shouldn't be taken all that seriously because they make cringy content on social media. But as someone who knows how these people actually operate behind closed doors, you'll find out that they're quietly doing over $10 million a year with amazing products, well-ran teams, and the only way these businesses make money is by booking a call to speak with their high-ticket closers to close a deal to get to the business owner, the creator, the so-called influencer, right? And these businesses have mastered the new way of marketing by using ads and content to bring you warm, qualified leads begging to work with them. And when there's a gold rush, you need to sell shovels. You see, instead of trying to go viral and run your own business and risk tons of money, you can simply be the middleman and make hundreds of thousands of dollars in profit while these business owners are making millions with honestly tons of expenses. Here's a little secret. Business owners won't really tell you this, but some of my best months as a high ticket closer, when I was making 25 to 30 grand a month, I got pretty close with the business owner that I sold for, and he told me, he confessed to me one month that I made more in profit than he did as a high ticket closer while he was running a business doing $400,000 a month. So take it from me. If you want to get rich, don't start a business. You get rich by first being in high ticket sales. And once you're already rich, then you can start businesses. But let me fully take a step back here and make sure that you fully understand what high ticket sales actually is. You are basically selling expensive online services for online businesses on 10 to 15% commission, so you're technically a 1099 independent contractor. You're not a W-2 employee. So what this means is you have total control over your calendar and your time, and it's all remote, so you can literally do this from wherever you want. We have some clients that do this from the comfort of their home because they got families, and they want to spend time with their wife and their kids. They want to pick their kids up from school. They want to drop them off at school. They want to be there as a father. And then we have some clients, they're in their 20s. They want to rent an Airbnb in Spain with other high-ticket closers that they met from the Closing Bible, taking calls all over the world with their friends, living life and exploring the world. So what a normal day as a high-ticket closer looks like is this. You're going to wake up, you're going to text your calls on your calendar for the day. So if you open your calendar from, let's just say 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., you're going to have about 6 calls on your calendar that run about 45 minutes long. And these leads are inbound. They're booking Zoom calls on your calendar, and they even fill out a form with detailed reasons as to why they're interested in working for you and paying for what you sell. Let's just say you're selling a $10,000 consulting service that helps people acquire cash flowing brick and mortar businesses. You have 6 calls on your calendar, maybe 5 of them show up. You have a 40% close rate and 2 of them close. 40% close rates may feel extremely high in other industries, but in high ticket sales, because the leads are warm and inbound, that's actually extremely doable. At the peak of my career, I had 60 to 70% close rates. 40 is standard. If you close 2 deals in one day on a $10,000 product, you just made $2,000 in straight commission if you're on 10%, and you can do this 5 to 6 days a week. And although you do make your own schedule, this isn't a part-time thing. Like, put it this way. This is something you should 100% do full-time, because if you had the potential to make $2,000 a day, why the hell would you not want to do this full-time? Now understand, you create your own calendar. I actually got my fiance into this. She's made hundreds of thousands of dollars doing this as well. Sometimes she's like, hey, I want to go to Pilates in the morning. I'm not going to start taking calls until 11 a.m. Maybe I'll go until 6 or 7. She's like, you know what? I don't want to be late into the day. I'll start taking calls at 9 a.m., but I'm going to get done by 3:30. Hey, I'm trying to make a lot of money this week. I'll stack my calendar 10, 12 hours a day. I'll work 6 days a week, and I'm trying to make $5,000 this week. You know what I mean? So like, you totally control your own calendar, but this isn't like a 2 hours a day type thing. And a common question we also get is, what types of things do you actually sell in high ticket sales? It's primarily marketing services, consulting services, or coaching products. So if that's something that interests you and you want to break into high ticket sales, here's what my company, the Closing Bible, can do for you. We train you up to sell in this specific industry because the sales process is much different than anything you've ever done before. And once you pass your mock test, we will put you on multiple interviews with companies we have personally vetted out, and then get you placed guaranteed, or you get a full refund into a remote high ticket sales role. So if you have some sales experience and you've sold stuff in the past, you can click the link below, book a call with my team there at closingbible.com, and we can help you break into high ticket sales. But for those of you who want more information, let me break down for the rest of this video exactly how I would find the opportunities, make sure these are good opportunities, land the interviews, and then how to actually sell in this specific industry if I were starting from scratch and finding my first high ticket sales opportunity to make my first 100K in 2025. Again. So let's get into the meat and the potatoes, the actual sauce of this video. The first step is something that you shouldn't take lightly. I would make sure that you actually get good at sales first. This isn't a step that you can just skip or just figure out later. You have to remember that these are performance-based sales roles. You are commission only. You can make as much money as you want and you can write your own paycheck. But you make money when deals close. So although the leads are inbound and that makes it easier to close, the sales process is much different than anything you've ever done before. So I would highly recommend, just to start, no matter where you're at in your sales journey, read these 3 books. How to Win Friends and Influence People is very beginner stuff. Dale Carnegie wrote it. It's a banger. It's a good refresher if you've been in the game for a little bit. The Way of the Wolf is more beginner to intermediate. And then my favorite sales book ever is Never Split the Difference. It is an FBI negotiator, Chris Voss. It is, I try to read it like once a year. It is game-changing stuff. This will help you understand the fundamentals of sales and persuasion. Because if you can get your skill level to mastery in these 2 skills, you will never have to worry about money again because you've officially mastered a high income skill. But obviously, reading 3 books won't suddenly make you a master at closing deals in high ticket sales. The way you actually get good at sales is by getting reps in. You wouldn't have like an NBA level skill set in basketball if you read some basketball books and watched some YouTube videos. You got to go pick up a basketball and touch the court. You know what I mean? So sales is no different. You have to get the awkward stutters out of your system by doing mock calls. Find a friend who wants to take this path of high ticket sales with you and get some reps in. One person acts like a prospect, one person acts like the high ticket closer, and you emulate a full sales call from end to end. Do this about 100 times and you'll be way better than you were if you were just on your first rep ever. If you want sales script templates specifically for high ticket sales and resources to have something to use when you do this, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have multiple videos with these resources. You can honestly just go through my playlist called High Ticket Sales Masterclass on my YouTube channel and you'll find multiple bangers on exact scripts and different frameworks that you should use for high ticket sales. Now that I have a base level skill set, I have real value that I can bring to these high ticket business owners. And in this part of the video, we're going to be covering how to find high ticket sales roles and the best niches to do it in. And keep in mind, this is for like me specifically, like Garrett Campbell. I'm going to break down how I would do it, and then you can learn from the way I'm actually going to break this stuff down so that you can do it for yourself too, because every person is just a little bit different. So what's next for me is picking a niche of business that I could potentially sell in. Now, for you specifically, you're going to make the most money selling things that you have either knowledge in, you're passionate about, or maybe you already have some experience in. This works in any niche, and I can assure you that there is a business in any niche doing over $1 million a month with high ticket closers that are doing $20,000 a month. I have seen this firsthand with my own eyes in fitness, finance, AI, private equity, e-com, SMMA, dating, and literally any blue collar niche too, and more that I haven't even listed. There's $1 million business that sells a self-tanning certification for my girls out there. So I promise you, there is a niche for you that can make you a shit ton of money. For me, I'm an absolute nerd about finance. I love this stuff. Since I was 18, 19, I was studying interest rates and the stock market and crypto and loans, and I just love this stuff. I'm a nerd about it. So I know right now, most of the wealth is being held by people that are super old and are about to pass away, which means there's a massive wealth transfer that's about to happen from boomers that own businesses that don't actually want to pass them down to their kids. Or their kids just don't want to take the businesses. They're not smart children. So what I'm going to be looking for are businesses that help people acquire these businesses with no money down using government programs like SBA loans and different stuff like that. I think it's honestly just a really big trend where I would be selling to customers that have money, which is important. They're doing something that is a big opportunity right now. And now what I need to do is find someone who has the most attention talking about this right now that has an expensive service and a team of high ticket closers. And I got a little bit of inside information right now because my client, who I'll take his name off here, he's just made $2,360 literally yesterday. He just posted this in our client Slack channel today. He made $2,360 in one day selling in this niche. So I know it's hot, and it's honestly really proven because I already have clients doing it. And I don't want you to skip over what I just said. Attention is the most valuable resource in the economy today in 2025. So I need to find the person with the most attention talking about this right now that has an expensive service and a team of high ticket closers. Now listen, we're going to find these people on YouTube specifically by hacking the algorithm. Why YouTube? Well, think about it. Out of all the social medias, when you follow someone, who do you actually have the closest relationship with? Because I promise you, you don't care about someone you follow on TikTok that much. You probably care more about someone you follow on Instagram. It's a little bit more of an intimate platform, but you spend real time with people you find on YouTube. So if I find someone with the most attention on YouTube, they're going to have the hottest leads who are the most bought into them. So the sales calls are going to be the easiest. And we're talking about making $100,000 the fastest way possible in 2025. I need the most warm, buttered up sales calls in a hot trend, in a good niche that's popping off right now, and the person with the most attention in that niche on YouTube, which is the highest trust platform. So here's how we're going to hack the algorithm to find these awesome high ticket sales roles. I'm going to go into YouTube and I'm going to type in things that people who are already interested in pursuing this would probably type in, like how to buy a cash flowing business with no money down, buying my first boring business, using SBA loans to buy boomer businesses. And from there, you're going to see a bunch of viral YouTube videos pop up in this niche served to me on a silver platter. And I want to build a list of the top 20 YouTubers in this niche with the most subscribers and the most viewed videos in this niche. Now, like I said earlier, we're looking for business owners who also make content, not influencers. And influencers are still out there. They're probably making content about this right now. But if they're just running a podcast or they're just making money off their YouTube channel, they're not making real money. We need people that are making $1 million a year minimum, ideally $1 million a month, so we can make some serious cash. Because if the business is doing $1 million a month and they pay their closers 10% commission, they're paying out $100,000 a month to their high ticket closers, and I want a piece of that pie. If they're doing $20K a month, I don't want $2K a month. Who cares about that? So this is how we're going to weed out the influencers from the real business owners. The way we're going to do this is by looking at their links in bio and the link in the description under their YouTube videos, right? And if we see them doing affiliate marketing for other businesses, we know they're an influencer who, let's be real, is poor. They're not making that much money, who isn't a real business owner. What we really want is to see the link in their, description or whatever, saying something like, want to learn how to buy a business? Here's a free consult. And then there's like a link to a website where you can actually book a call. So you can go and click on those links, you can fill out the form, and you could look to see if there's a calendar where you can book a call. Do this with your list of your top 20 YouTubers, and if they don't have that, take them off the list. By this point, you probably have about 10 businesses that are doing well over at least $250,000 a month that you can sell for in a high ticket sales role. Now that we've identified these 10 amazing opportunities, we got to land some dang interviews, okay? So there's a couple different ways of doing this, right? Number one, if they have a pretty established, like they're a very established, doing over $1 million a month, they probably have a website where they have like a little careers tab. Maybe they have like a salesperson or a high ticket closer, or maybe they're fancy, they'll call it an account executive, which is just a high ticket closer. You could just apply straight there. But honestly, we don't see that happening too frequently in this specific niche. The way that people hire salespeople in this niche is much different. The second option that you have, you could see if their company is on LinkedIn, you could apply there, or even better, you can find their sales manager on LinkedIn and message them directly. Or number three, and this is honestly the most common, you can send them a personalized DM on Instagram. And more times than not, like I said, I see method number three, message them on Instagram, being the most effective and honestly the most common. So with the DM that I'm about to send this person, I have to understand that I'm not the only person sending them a DM about being their high ticket closer. After all, if we're in a hot niche and we're chasing someone with a huge following that's making over $1 million a month, we're probably not the only person who wants to be their high ticket closer, because there is a small group of people that understand the size of this opportunity and they're going to be rushing to capitalize on this before you will. The more effort and the more personalization I can put in this DM, the better results I'm probably going to get. And out of all the people that I saw on this topic, the biggest one, the one that I personally would prefer to sell for the most, is Cody Sanchez. You guys have probably seen some of her content before because she has over 1.7 million subscribers on YouTube, 2.4 million subscribers, followers, whatever, on Instagram, and she is flooded with attention. She has a booking calendar on her website, and she must be crushing it with her program. I think it's called like the Contrarian Thinker or something like that. I would shoot her a DM saying how the opportunity to buy businesses from the older generation is massive. I love her content. I love her company and the vision that she has with her company. And I've sold over $8 million in deals in high ticket sales, with most of it being in the finance niche, which is true. And that I want to be on her sales team to sell her consulting services for the Contrarian Thinker. And not only that, because anyone can type words, but think of it, right? If I'm going to be their high ticket closer, I'm going to be closing deals over Zoom. So I'm going to be on Zoom. They're going to see my background. I'm going to need to be able to like speak well, right? So I'm also going to make what's called a Loom video. You just go to loom.com. It's free. Make them a video. Gives you a little link to your video. It's pretty awesome. And I'm going to be saying basically everything that I just laid out here in this paragraph in my Loom video. Because like I said, it's important to know that you present well on camera, you're well spoken, and you actually know what you're talking about. So if you can throw in any lingo of like buying businesses or SBA loans or, interest rates or what it's like to acquire a business. Like if you have any type of business acumen in this specific niche, like talk their talk a little bit and they'll be like, okay, this person like actually knows what they're talking about. And if you want to get really saucy, which I do, of course, I would probably reference one of their testimonials and be like, I saw what you did for Brad on how, he bought that laundromat and started making $300,000 a year from it. And my Lord, I would love to sell something with testimonials like that. It would make it really easy and I could make you a lot of money. You know what I mean? I would throw a little flair in the Loom video as well. And I'd make sure, this is very key here, because if you have a bad Loom video, you will not get hired. I'd make sure I did this with good lighting, a clean background. I did multiple takes on this video to make sure I got it down perfect. I would send this Loom to her after the DM. And pro tip, on Loom, it actually tells you when someone views it, which is nice. So you can see if they're actually opening your videos. And then I'd try to find her team members on LinkedIn in the sales department or the HR department or the recruiting department and send them a similar DM with the same Loom video link as well. And pro tip here, I would also DM Cody on her least followed platforms. Maybe she has a smaller Twitter, or maybe she has a smaller TikTok or something like that. She probably doesn't, I don't know. So if I DM on a platform where she gets the least DMs, I actually have a higher likelihood of her seeing it, which is pretty awesome. I know people in my network that aren't in the Closing Bible who had to shoot DMs to people to land sales roles. When they DM'd someone with 360,000 followers on Instagram, it didn't work. But if they DM'd them on Twitter where they have 4,000 followers, they got hired. So I would make sure I hit every platform. So I know for a fact that if I did this with Cody, as well as the 10 other businesses I made on my list, there is zero chance that I wouldn't land at least 3 interviews and get hired by 1 business. If you took action on everything I laid out in this video, there is a very, very strong chance that you can be on your path to making your first 100K fast in 2025. But with everything in life, there is obvious downsides and risks. And I'm not someone who's just gonna act like this is the easiest thing in the world, there's zero risk, and anyone can just casually do this without working hard and make $100,000. So let me uncover some stuff you need to know before taking action that is very, very important to know. Every high ticket sales role is not created equal. My first high ticket sales role did not have a good product, and I had no way of knowing because I was totally new to this world and I didn't know what red flags to look out for. On top of that, they barely had enough lead flow to keep me busy. So my first month, I worked 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, only to make $1,700 a month. And half of my time was spent calling old leads who didn't want to talk to me because they had no more leads coming in and I was trying to make money. Although without a doubt, if I improved my skills, I obviously could have made more money. The truth was that they had bad client results. So although the business was good at getting attention, the people booking in calls didn't really trust the people I was selling for. It is totally against my ethics and morals to sell things that don't actually work. So this didn't work out well for me. Come to find out, that business was only doing $30,000 a month in revenue. And to some of you might be like, hey, that's like 360 grand a year. That's a lot of money. It isn't. On 10% commission, if I drive every single dollar into that business, I'm gonna make $3,000 a month. If I'm trying to make my 100K in 2025 fast, I ain't gonna do it making $3K a month for some $30K a month business. There are tons of high ticket sales roles available, but choosing the wrong one is expensive. You could be missing out on over $100,000 over the span of a year by being in the high ticket sales role that has a bad product, they struggle with lead flow, doing less than 80 grand a month, they have bad systems, like they don't have like a CRM or like a sales tracker or any stuff like that. If they don't have any lead qualification systems to make sure you're not talking to unqualified leads, or if they don't have a good sales script or sales process in place. And for you, especially if you're taking this massive opportunity seriously, try pursuing this and landing your first high ticket sales role ever. You don't have the trained eye to be able to spot these red flags and prevent these from happening to yourself like I did in my early days. And that's why the Closing Bible exists and has helped over 400 sales reps make this transition into high ticket sales. It's one of the biggest reasons why people work with us outside of our world-class sales training and hands-on call reviews that we provide. We get hundreds, and I'm talking hundreds, of applications from 7- and 8-figure business owners every single month wanting to hire high ticket closers from us. And we get on calls with them and make sure that they're actually good opportunities by spotting out those red flags and turning down these businesses. We just turned down 3 yesterday. And from there, we let the good ones go through and we set you up directly on interviews with these amazing businesses. And the best part is that we literally guarantee placement into these high ticket sales roles or you get a full refund. So I wouldn't recommend trying this out on your own, even though you technically can 100%. If you take action on this video, just you have to know the risk that comes with this. So I hope you got value from this video and I'm excited to work with you here at the Closing Bible. So click the link below at closingbible.com, fill out the form, book a call with my team, and I will see you on the inside.